had one mission in a day, which was to retrieve a briefcase filled with secret documents and either which behind these three doors. The first door was locked and I didn't have the key. The second door, danger. How would I even go in there without dying? And the last one was a door that I had to build myself and it wasn't provided. Did I succeed or did I fail? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nadya. I'm from Neil Armstrong class, grade 12. And in that game, I failed. But today, I'm not just talking about any doors. It's actually the doors we enter through today. And that door is education, schools. For us, myself and my friends here, there are many ways to access education. But for our fellow friends who learn and adapt differently, our special needs student friends, the only way to access education, often and most of the time, are only through Individualized Education Program, or IEP. But IEP isn't as simple as it looks. It isn't an education plan that has been drafted and directly given to you. Instead, it is an education program that must be shaped. The first step isn't to retrieve the curriculum, but it's to actually create and craft it. So who is responsible of creating IEP itself? Besides educators, there are also another important party. And they're sitting right here. Parents. They have an important role in IEP. Difference from other types of education is that parents are very involved in IEP. They contribute in two ways, giving their knowledge of their children's strengths and weaknesses and advocating for their rights to either accept, alter, or reject IEP itself. And when it follows through, IEP can be created to be personalized for the special needs students. But the reality is, IEP can only work if parents truly play their role. But parents aren't actors that read from a script. And they don't play the same role themselves. And that's because each parents are different. Because they have what's called as biographical backgrounds. And this was found by Widjaja and Sharon in 1977, as well as Lyudmila Nurse in 2023. Biographical backgrounds become the models of how parents play their role in involvement in IEP. And what does it encompass? It encompasses socioeconomic status as well as cultural knowledge. Cultural knowledge might not be familiar to all of us, but I explain this in two simple tools. The first tool in entering any new house is a key, such as cultural capital. It's the understanding, the knowledge, and the skills that opens new opportunities. The second tool is a map. Habitus. These are internalized attitudes, perceptions, and beliefs of institutions such as school. It's sort of like a map which guides you when and where to use your key and what doors to open. And that's what leads to my research question. In what ways do these biographical backgrounds affect parents' perception of being involved in IEP for special needs education? And this research is through giving out surveys, which ask two types of questions. The first, biographical data, monthly income, education, your perception and your past experiences of education as a student and also as a parent. And the second type of question is to ask your involvement, which is their attendance in IEP meetings, their understanding of their rights and responsibilities, as well as their communication abilities. And once again, these perceptions are like the three doors I've shown to you in my first part of the presentation. The first set of parents are those who see that they have a limited access to education. These are the parents who lack cultural capital, in which they don't have the ability to communicate effectively, and they don't have the understanding of the rights and the policies of IEPs themselves. So then they attend meetings, but they don't understand or have a significant influence in personalizing the program itself. And what affects all of this? Bullying and discrimination. Because from my research, there is a negative correlation of discrimination and bullying. When discrimination on a person, on a parent increases, it was found that their understanding of rights and goals depleted. The more they faced discrimination, they weren't able to understand the policies and the rights of the school system. But these two also correlate to the second type of parents, and those are parents who are keeping at a distance. Whether or not the school system looks or is dangerous, they have a distorted habitus. They see the school as dangerous because of bullying and discrimination, but also because of the lack of trust that they have for the school's institution. So they navigate through school from avoidance instead of having a symbolic role as the previous parents. And this is seen through the negative correlation from education's trustworthiness to the degrees of attendance in IB meetings. If parents really trust schools, they will attend more. But in contrast, as they don't trust schools, they will not attend also. The last set of parents are those who are re-engaging differently. These are parents that, from the results observed, have a very high educational level, but instead they can't seem to incorporate or be involved in IB. And also a set of parents who have a lower educational level, but seems to understand IB goals and IB rights. And so now the key on the map doesn't seem important. Instead, these parents create new doors through resilience and ownership. But this is still important because they are not collaborating with teachers, finding their own way into the system. And this is shown through a negative correlation once again. So we recognize that involvement is not equal. It's not the same for every single parent, and schools must recognize and bridge that. There are the ABCs to tackling this problem. A. Ask and acknowledge. Ask about their expectations from parents and their experiences in education. And acknowledge that each stories will later lead to an involvement that is different from one another. B. Bridge and belonging. Provide a third party besides teachers and educators, a cultural guide and a liaison, which tells you about the programs and gives a better understanding and a sense of belonging to those who have lost ones. And finally, C. Cultivate and connect. Train teachers to cultivate understanding on parents to help them connect better with them. And this is all to achieve the sustainable development goals of a quality education. Because schools must create education where doors are always open to all types of parents and students. To end, a Bible verse from Matthew 7 verse 7 also mentions how whenever we knock, God always opens the door. So why don't we encourage education that when any person knocks, that access will be open? Thank you for listening. These are my resources, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Nadya.